Welcome to the Millennial Network Podcast. Now your host, Coach Danny Renee.
What's up, y'all? This is Coach Danny Renee, and this is the Millennial Network Podcast. Right here we have James Zheng. He is the founder of the Warrior Movement, and he also helped build businesses online. He's out here in California.
Yep.
And also welcome, James. So James is also a millennial. James, tell us about your journey to becoming an entrepreneur.
Never thought I'd be an entrepreneur, first of all, but thanks for having me, Danny, and glad to connect with you and your audience. I grew up with the American dream. My parents are immigrants from China, so I don't know if this is true with other ethnicities. I think stereotypes, they're kind of not always true, but they're kind of funny because sometimes they are true. So The Chinese Asian stereotype is you're supposed to be anything you want to be in life as long as there's a doctor, lawyer, engineer. So
wow.
Doctor was the way I was going. So I went to UC Berkeley. I was studying biology, no surprise. And there I was looking for some work. I was looking for some experience because I figured, if you just study all the time, it's not really going to get you far in life. So I was looking for something. And that's when I met some business mentors. I got introduced to entrepreneurship, network marketing or multi-level marketing specifically. And I started part-time, more so just as a side hustle, more so honestly as just an educational experience. I never thought I would be just a entrepreneur, like that's what I'd be doing in life or anything. But long story short, 2.5 years later, it became a full-time profession. Last decade, it's been what me and my wife do together, and it's been an absolute blessing and joy.
Okay, now you said 2.5 years later?
Yeah, 2.5 years later.
Okay, so you worked the business 2.5 years part-time and then decided to go full-time. Okay,
exactly.
Great. So you say you were studying biology. What type of doctor? What type of doctor are you looking to be?
Honestly, growing up, I thought my mindset, and it's all about philosophies, right? There's a huge difference, and there's the entrepreneur mindset versus the job mindset. So the job mindset was this: get as much education as you can, get the most degrees you can, and you win. So I was thinking, well, I'm going to get an MD, PhD, MPH, whatever that it is, and I'm going to be a neurosurgeon because that's supposed to make the big bucks, right? So that was a thought at first.
Okay. So how many years of school did you go through on that process? And were you still in school before you decided to be an entrepreneur?
Yeah. So I was in school. I was 19. So this was the beginning of my sophomore year in college. And so I finished up my 4-year degree at Berkeley. I was fully intending on going to medical school. I had the grades. I could have applied things like that. But literally when I graduated, that's when my business started to pay enough for me to actually consider this to do it full time. Found a new endeavor actually in the same industry. And it started like literally a month after I graduated, a new company formulated that I partnered with. And I'm like, you know what? We're young once. If I fail, I know I can always go back to school type of thing, and haven't gone back yet.
Okay. So were you always in the health and wellness space?
Pretty much. I think it was a personal thing to me because I grew up a chubby kid.
Really?
I was fat. I think in 7th grade, I was like 160 pounds. So I got made fun of. Yeah, and then I think with most people, girls, that was a big thing. So want to get more fit and in shape and stuff like that. So I had like a mini type of transformation in high school. I don't know if it was puberty or whatever that it was, but
usually it is that for guys.
It's a big deal. There's such a big driving force of guys. You've read Think and Grow Rich and Napoleon Hill before, right? So I think one of the most fascinating chapters in there is, what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. What is it?
Transmutation.
Sexual transmutation, right?
Yep. The mystery of sex transmutation, right? And that just sounds foreign because you're like, what does that mean? But really what it is it talks about guys and of course women as well too, but guys specifically, there's so much energy in that sexual desire for women that if it's transmuted into something powerful like an idea or entrepreneurship or something, there's a lot of creative power there. But for most guys like myself, It's just like, well, I want to look good, make a lot of money so I can
Right.
attract all the girls, to be honest, So that kind of got me into health and wellness. And then it got more mature from there, I guess. But that was my way in.
Nice. That's funny because the fact that you're a guy and saying this, when I read that chapter, I'm like, this is interesting. So it's just like when you look at these billionaires and they transmute, it's like, what are they saying?
Yeah.
That they were so different that they didn't find a wife at that time. So they
Yep.
decided to go ahead and take that energy and apply it to or not even entrepreneurships, but at that time their studies before they became an entrepreneur. And it's like the power, like, to me, I decided to do a little bit more studying into
Mm.
that. But the fact that you're a guy and you're actually saying that, I'm just like, I wonder
Yeah.
how, like, the levels that works in your favor, right?
Yep.
Like
Yep.
that's pretty interesting. So, and then it's because, like, with male boxers, they're like, you don't want to,
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
before a fight. But I think also it's saying because of the energy, but then also something like on your legs or whatever. But it's funny
Yeah.
that you bring that out. Okay, great.
Yep.
So, did you play sports at all at that time, or you just went straight into just like working out? And what style of working out did you do?
Good. I've always appreciated athletics. So I played soccer
Mm-hmm.
even as a chubby kid. I played baseball, stuff like that. They always put me in the positions where no one would ever go,
Okay,
because I wasn't athletic at first.
at
But
first.
yeah, but then I love playing basketball. I love playing any sport, honestly, anything at all. I played high school football, track. Like I'm a sprinter. I did hurdles actually,
Okay, were you
because I
good?
wasn't that fast. What was that?
Okay, yeah, I was about to say, were you good, or you were just kind of like right in the middle?
But this is my thought process. I was fast enough to be kind of a sprinter, but not so fast to be competitive. So I felt if there's obstacles in the way, maybe I stand a better chance. Like there's some skill there. So I was okay
Mm-hmm.
at hurdles. Nothing crazy, but always been an avid, just personal athletic fan. But then just like weightlifting, like that type of stuff was something that I love. Just because I think it's something you can measure, it's something that you can push yourself, and it's like an individual thing. So
Okay.
when I got into health, and now just always been an avid gym goer, just personal fitness stuff like that.
Gotcha. So do you just like go lift weights, or what is your favorite form of working out?
I love lifting weights. I love
Okay.
power lifting types of things, but not aggressive. More
Mm-hmm.
so for just general maintenance strength stuff like that. Because I don't want to jack up my back. I kind of popped my back once. I'm like, oh, I should probably not do
Oh
that
man.
again. Yeah.
That's the story of my life. The story of my life is like I love lifting weights. Just
Mm,
always enjoy working out, but I think my history of aggressive sports at the level
yeah.
that I've always trained at, I, had all these different ailments. Like my back is messed up, lifting
Yeah.
incorrectly. And now at this age, it's kind of like I rather work out more so for my health
Yeah.
versus just
Exactly.
looking good,
Yep.
So it's interesting that you say that. So let's go back a little.
Yeah.
You say you got your start in entrepreneurship
Yep.
in the network marketing space.
Yep.
So did someone that just come and be like, "Hey, I just joined this company." And what made you join the company that you were
Yeah.
in? Was it the fact that it was health and wellness, or would you have joined any other company if it just had the same model?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if anyone's ever been pitched MLM or network marketing, same term for those that are not familiar, it's pretty much the same pitch, right? Got this
Mm-hmm.
opportunity, you got to go check it out, type of thing. So I was in a fraternity when I was in college. So the older blood brother of one of the fraternity members, I kind of knew him, kind of like an acquaintance. He was always dressed up, looked good. And he was just like, he approached me just like what you said. And I was open minded. And to be honest, at first, I was the most skeptical ever. Like I said, not just no, I said, I probably dropped an F bomb in my mind. And I was just like, I'm never going to do something like this. This is absolutely a pyramid scheme. Isn't it obvious? I viewed network marketing as a subpar, low class type of business, not even a business, right? Just a scam,
Mm-hmm.
honestly. So, to answer your question, what made me join was I liked that it was in health. I did, but really it was the people.
Okay.
People. because the saying is people don't join businesses, they don't join products, they don't join services, they join people. And what happened is my friend introduced me eventually to someone that would eventually become my first business mentor. And I
Okay.
just connected with him so much. Yeah, I was 19. This guy was 23. He was making six figures. He was going to UC Irvine. He dropped out his last quarter because he made more than his degree. And I'm like, and he was just a very cool guy. He was a very confident person. What I was looking for, because I think especially in millennials and the next generations, school doesn't teach us the skills of leadership, communication, like and anything that really matters, honestly, in today's day
That's
and
true.
age. And I saw that he had things, because if you met me before, Danny, I was the bookworm Asian nerd. I was so shy. I couldn't even order my own food at a restaurant. I'd have you order for me, right?
Wow.
But I saw that there were people that were able to learn that here, and they could actually make a lifestyle with it too. So I'm like, even if it's not legit, and of course it is, I looked into it and everything. I think network marketing is the most amazing business platform in the world because it gives everyone an honest shot, and you get leverage and residual income, you know?
Yeah, I definitely agree. And you know what's funny is that so
Yeah.
many people, entrepreneurs today, when you ask them like, "Hey, what's a book that you recommend?"
Yeah.
They'll say Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah.
But one of the things that Rich Dad Poor Dad he mentions in the book is that, hey, you should look into becoming an entrepreneur,
Yeah.
and look into getting into the network marketing space. And he's like, because it's
Because,
easy it's cheap overhead. You
yep.
immediately get successful mentors that can teach you to, the business, and
Yeah.
it's just all the different benefits. So
Yeah.
they make it so taboo, but it's just like if you join a right company and a right team, you can get
Yep.
everything that you want to in that business to where you can be very successful in that business, or you can take
Yep.
that information and apply it to something that you're very hungry about.
Yeah.
But it's like, and I always say, one of my mentors kind of told me years ago, when you look at Jay-Z, so use
Yep.
him for example, because he's a self-made
Yeah.
billionaire, and obviously people can argue like different facts, right?
Right.
But Jay-Z, he got his start in music.
Yep.
Everybody knew him for rap. Great
Yep.
rapper, lyricist, right? But Jay-Z then took that platform and he started investing in sports teams, music,
Mm.
entertainment, art, different business industries, real estate, I'm assuming, right?
Yep.
So the point of me saying all that is that the rules of entrepreneurship is transformational across all different types of platforms. And I
Yeah.
think that's the one thing that most people don't take in consideration. So you mentioned your first mentor.
Yeah.
I think one thing that people fail to realize is that when they do get into the network marketing MLM space, is that
Yep.
they too, because most people are on the defense. They're like, they
Yep.
need to think about it. It's just a pyramid scheme, different things like
Yep.
that. But they can still be interested in the business.
Right.
So the fact that you have over 10 years of experience, if
Yeah.
someone was to get interested in, like your business or any business in that
Yep.
arena, how would you tell them to go out and make sure that they find the right mentor for them, even if they
Yeah.
like the company?
Absolutely. I Mentors are the key to success in life, to shortcut your way. There's a
Right.
statistic, Danny, that if you find a good mentor, your odds of success increase by 500%. That's 5 times. So the way I look at it is if you have a 5-year goal, find a mentor, it's 1 year. So shortcuts
Wow.
time. It is the fastest way. That's what I've just clinged on to mentors throughout life. And I'm like, just teach me everything. Now, to find a good mentor, I have a couple criteria. Number one is they must be successful in what it is that you want to learn. Right? They must be successful in what it is that you want to learn. I think number two, though, is even more important. And the number two thing is not only are they successful, there's a lot of successful people in this world, period. But
Right.
there's a smaller few that can teach and duplicate their success. So number two is, has this mentor had an established track record with helping other people achieve success in what they do as well too? We'll look at their legacy. Have they duplicated? If not, then that's a little bit scary. There's a lot of people that are, the saying is unconscious competence, meaning they are good, but they don't know why they're good.
Mm.
If you ask them, It's like if I don't know if you've ever met someone before. It's like they're just buff, right? They're just fit, and you're like, I had a good friend of mine. I'm like, how are you so buff? He's like, I don't know, work out and eat. It's like that's not helpful,
Pretty much.
right? So number two is that, but I think number three is a huge thing too. This is like a bonus, but I look for this if I look for mentor. Is this mentor also currently doing and succeeding in what it is that they're training to? There's a lot of old coaches that did it back in the day, and now they're just kind of training what they did from before. And it's not to say and dismiss their information, but there's so much respect when I see someone that's doing it still and teaching it and duplicating that. So those are three things I would look for.
Gotcha. So you mentioned back in the day.
Yeah.
What would you say, like, you building a business back in the day or,
Yeah.
over a decade ago versus what information would you give to somebody building a business now
Yeah.
in this
Yeah.
space, but then just in general?
Yep. So success leaves clues and truth is old, as all the sayings go. So business success, it's always, and I love how Ed Milet puts it. He says that business as a whole is just personal development wrapped around a compensation plan,
Mm-hmm.
right? So as you grow as a person, as you become more valuable, you can add more value to the marketplace. So that's really like the big thing behind any type of business. That's always true. But I would say that now we need to get adapted to the new platforms of communication. Social media is a must, right? It's like if you don't do social media, you don't have a presence, you're not virtual these days, you're not digital, you automatically are just behind in the competition.
I
You
agree.
know? Like, so
I
you
definitely
have to
agree.
get good. Yeah. Yeah.
So, so you mentioned that social media being a must, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know about you. And I definitely know how when I first started my business or, first even started in the network marketing space,
Yeah.
no one, or let's see, Patrick Bet David says it the best way possible, right? He says that network marketing, he was like, I think he was like, it's not even an industry. It's a form of marketing.
Mm-hmm.
When I heard that, I was just like, wow, it's
Mm.
because it's only one form of marketing, which is your
Yeah.
marketing within your network. You go
Yep.
into your friends and family and like, hey, got an opportunity, are you interested, whatever, right? So you got the old form and people, and I guess this form has really been going on since what, like the 80s?
Mm.
So people are now getting put off because they're like pyramid scheme, and obviously now it's taboo, right?
Mm-hmm.
So more people have moved over to social media.
Yeah.
You got the spam, the people in your inbox. Hey, you want to join my company? The copy and paste message. And I don't see how someone can be successful in that in using social media that way because it's so many other people doing it. So
Yeah.
with you mentioning the value of just being on the internet, how would you advise some people against that form, which I think is
Yeah.
just an amateur mistake, to doing it the right way, utilizing
Yep.
social media?
I think you have to make a decision first in whatever business that you do, whether network marketing or any business, to do
Mm-hmm.
it professionally, to do it absolutely professionally. And this is the same, whether it's, a decade ago or now. When I finally made the decision to join network marketing, become an entrepreneur when I was 19, and I said, all right, I'm going to do this. I made an affirmation to myself that still holds true to this day, which is if I'm going to do anything, I'm going to do it professionally, ethically, and morally, because that's really what it is. There's unprofessionals in not just network marketing, car sales, beauty,
Right.
film industry, like everything. There's always unprofessional. So just decide up front. A decision means to cut off. The CIDE is a root word in Latin, which is to kill, right? So you kill off another way. So never do anything unprofessional. So spammy tactics, being tacky, just don't do that. And then it's
Gotcha.
also understanding that what builds any business is you and your brand. You are your own brand. It's not your company, it's not your service, it's not your product. People join people. And
Right.
people buy from people that they know, like, and trust. So
Mm-hmm.
all of these areas need to be touched upon. It's just a thing to be aware of.
Gotcha. So you help people build online businesses.
Yep.
So how would you I work a job.
Yep.
I'm not happy about my job.
Yeah.
How would you help me build a professional business?
Absolutely.
How would
Well,
you get
assuming
me to start that process?
Yeah, for sure. So number one, you got to pick some type of business vehicle. So find something that you align with, find something that is providing legitimate products or services, find something that's got a little bit of legacy behind it, I guess. So like, all right, this is tried and true. Because I understand when you build any business, reputation's on the line. So it's very key that you pick right. And like what you mentioned, find one where you have good mentors and everything. But if I'm coaching someone to build something online, number one, so a couple things is social media, post every day. I tell people post on your feed every day and post in your stories every day. All right. Now I started with I'm not a social dude. Or I'm not a social media influencer. I'm an introvert. So going social, first just talking to someone one-on-one is hard. And then you tell me to go on social media. My gosh. But it's so important because if we want to market ourselves using that word that you used, we got to let people know who we are, not our business, who we are. So the first part is just being able to put yourself out there. And then every
Right.
now and then drip a little bit about what you do or what you provide, but not most of the time. Just talk about you. What are your hobbies? What are your interests? If I was like, Danny, so what do you like? And Danny loves sports. She loves working out. She loves personal development. She loves finance. She loves people, right? Like she loves her family. Start talking about that. She loves millennials and helping them out. And then what happens is people are start to get to know you. They're like, Danny, I like what you're all about. What do you do? Oh, let me show you. So they buy
Yeah.
into you first and then they buy into your business or product or service.
Gotcha. And I think that's very important about personal development, and is that when you do decide to join a company, that's developing yourself as an entrepreneur. But also, I think this part is not mentioned
Mm,
mentioned much, is developing yourself into that business. Not
hmm.
just recruiting and different things, but as a professional business owner, you got to understand what you're selling. You
Yep.
can't just be like, you just can't be in it for the money.
Yep.
You can't be in anything for the money. You got to really understand what you're selling. So
True.
in your space, and usually, most people know about, like, I think the first company I knew about was like Herbalife and different things like that.
Yeah.
People started targeting personal trainers because
Mm-hmm.
of like they're already in the space, they could sell a
Right.
smoothie, whatever, and be good. What are some things that, and you tell your story, right?
Yeah.
What do you recommend? There are some things that people can do to advance themselves in their industry so that they know what to post.
Mm. Number one, follow the people that are doing it. And first, copy or emulate, right? Like the best way to learn everything is just do what the successful people do, but not just copy. And I think this is where a lot of people get it off. This is what the difference of a person with a
Yes.
job is with someone with a business. Okay. The job mindset's this. And there's a lot of people in business that have a job mindset, and that's why they don't get paid like a business. And when I say paid like a business, I mean something that's scaling, something that's residual, something that pays very, very well. Okay. Job mindset's this. I'll give you an example. Is okay, I see what they're doing. I'm just gonna copy it and just boom, do it. Maybe they'll change up some words, maybe they'll change up a photo, right? Business owner is this. I see what they're doing. Why are they doing that?
Mm,
Why are they doing that? See, successful business owners know why. Employees only know how. And I think the
I like
biggest
that.
thing that people need to look at always is yes, look at what works, but why does it work? Because if you can get the mindset down, the thinking, then you can apply that across the board and you can always build something.
I do really, I like that, because when you really, like you said, when you study those that are in your field, um, they purposely put engaging stuff out there. And
Yep.
then when you really study entrepreneurship, it's all psychology. You
Yeah.
know, like something as simple like down to the logo. It's all psychology and like how we move and whatnot. So let me ask you this: what's the
Yeah.
warrior movement? Tell us a little
The
bit more about
war
that.
the warrior movement was born out of adversity.
Mm-hmm.
it was it was a self-affirmation that I needed, honestly. And what happened
Okay.
was we had a great six-figure a year business. It was climbing, it was great, and then some changes happened and a storm hit. And that storm debilitated me. I'm very positive usually, but long story short, by the time that we got our bearings, 50% of our business was gone in a year. We ended up being in $100,000 of consumer debt. It seemed hopeless. For the first time in my life, I turned to my wife and I was just like, I give up. I just give. I can't see hope in this. And fortunately, she was full of grace, and it was God speaking through her, and she was just like, "It's gonna be okay." So by the time that we locked back into our dream, I realized that in order to rebuild something or build anything, is that there's certain things that I was doing to build up that confidence again. And I needed to find that inner warrior within me. Warrior, not a worrier, you know? So, and we
Warrior.
all got that within us, right? So, small change in grammar or spelling, big change in actuality. So, um,
Mm,
and what I realized was this is as I was picking myself back up, it was hard for me to like go for something huge immediately. Like I needed to build me as a person again. And what do you do when you have nothing? Right? Is I realized that if we build in our body, our mind, and our spirit every single day, then you can become better so that you can channel that into your business. And it's having this daily method of operation. DMO is that terminology that's used now. That little by little, I grew in confidence again. Ed Milet says how you develop self confidence is you keep a promise to yourself. So whether that's, I'm just going to go walk around the block 30 minutes a day, I'm going to go hit the gym, I'm going to go drink 20 ounces of water right when I wake up, I'm going to take my vitamins, I'm going to take my shakes, whatever that it is in your body. Your mind. I'm going to listen to, instead of listening to rap music, which nothing wrong about rap music, but why not listen to a podcast like this? Why
mm-hmm.
not watch a YouTube? Why not do something to develop your mind, right? And then develop your spirit. Have an activity of gratitude or prayer, meditation, whatever it is that you resonate with. If we do that daily, these small personal victories and wins, you start to feel like, well, I kept that promise to myself. Maybe I can do a little bit more. Business deals with other people, which is kind of difficult sometimes because you don't know what they're
Mm-hmm.
thinking. There's no way to predict it, right? But if you can keep a promise to yourself, you can keep a promise to taking an action in your business as well too. Business meaning service, meaning helping other people, meaning leading towards your dream. And as I started to do that, long story short, we picked ourselves back up. And as we were building up our organization, I said, I'm just going to name it the Warrior Movement. And now it's both the organization, but it's also just the brand as a whole. Because I think all of us in entrepreneurship, that's
Right.
super important. We all have that in ourselves.
I love it. I love it. Because the fact that you mentioned the spiritual, physical, just different things that you eat. I think what reason so many people fail
Mm,
in the new year is
mm,
because they try to jump all in,
yep,
into something. And we can make promise to ourselves,
yeah,
but we got to make something that we can keep, and we have to
yep,
like really think about, like reality, be
yep,
realistic with ourselves. Um, like one of the things that I started doing, because I'm like, even though I've always been pretty healthy, and after I tried to stop doing bodybuilding, I was like, let me start small, because I felt like I
mm,
wasn't getting enough fruits and vegetables in
mm,
my diet. So I was like, let me
yeah,
start small. Let me do a smoothie a day, just a
mm,
smoothie a day. Or when I got off with reading, let me read 10 pages a day. If 10 pages
yeah,
felt like it was too much, because we also beat ourselves up. So we're
yep,
like, oh man, I didn't do it today. Take it down to 5 pages a day,
yep,
right? Something small. And then I feel like if we committed to smaller things, stuff
yeah,
that is realistic that we could do per day, then I can read 5 pages today, but I feel good tomorrow, so I decide to read 6 and 7. But the next
Yeah.
day, I still read 5.
Yep.
And then you realize how long it takes to do that said activity, and you can
Yeah.
gradually increase from there. So
Yeah.
let's go back to like the business.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you're an introvert.
Yeah.
A lot
Oh yeah.
with social media today, I feel like a lot of people do not communicate effectively. Okay,
Mm.
so if I'm an introvert,
Yep.
how can and I want to build an online business, how can I grow a
Yep.
business online? And I really don't like dealing with people.
Yep. It's really a shift in focus because introverts, at least for me, I know that I was shy because honestly, the attention was on me. How do I look? Like, how do I sound? Oh, I'm not that good in front of a camera. Oh, I don't look good, sound good, whatever that it is. In actuality, that's just a very self driven type of perspective. And if I want to do well in business or in life, our call in life is always a service mindset. How do I help the other person? So the way to get out of being an introvert is to change the focus. It's not about me, it's about this other person. And
Mhm.
introverts though, they should be very powerful with helping people because they think a lot. Usually as long as we shift the focus from how do I look towards how can I help them, then it's actually much simpler. So it's more so just a change in attitude shift right there on what we're focused on. And that's going to start to lead to everything else.
Gotcha. So focus more on the other person accomplishing the mission, and then
Yep.
less on yourself, is what you're saying?
1,000%. Only think about how do I help them?
Okay.
That's business. Business is just helping someone. That's it.
Got you. And if you just pretty much don't like helping people, then maybe it's not for you, right?
And we got some heart checks to go on right there.
Hey, I
That's the purpose
mean,
in life. Yeah.
right. But like you said, it's also, personal development. It's that it may
Yeah.
just be something that you have to develop into, because
True.
it's the reason you don't like dealing with people. You could just have
Yep.
really bad experiences. And
Yep.
maybe when you get into certain industries, if it's something that you care about, that you're passionate about,
Yeah.
even if you look at somebody like that's a coder, they like helping people some way, or they like,
Yeah.
because they created something for whatever reason, but it's usually not just for them to access it themselves. They want other
Right.
people to access it. So there's still some relation to people, right?
Totally.
Exactly.
Yep.
So let's go to the part-timer to the full-timer,
Yeah.
because the Millennial Network podcast is we're teaching millennial entrepreneurs how to go from their job to finding their
Yeah.
financial exit strategy through entrepreneurship.
Yep.
So how would you, or maybe even how did you, and
Yeah.
how would you coach someone from doing a part-time business? Because I mean, I've had a full-time job before, and after working 40 hours a week, granted more people are
Yep.
working from home now, working
Yep.
40 hours a week, you're in traffic, let's just say for 2 hours a day. So you
Yep.
add that onto your day's schedule. You may have kids, you got a
Mm-hmm.
spouse. How do I grow a business part time? What are some things, even small habits, that I can
Yeah.
do
Yep.
every day to where I am growing that business to where the next 2, 3, 5, 10, whatever years, I'm
Yeah.
able to just sit back if I want to and not do anything. Or
Yep.
I can scale up.
Right. Key question. It starts with the decision.
Mhm.
It starts with the decision. Because just because someone is in a business part-time does not mean, and they say that they want it to make everyone, I mean, who wouldn't want their part-time business make more than their full-time job?
Right.
But why do so few people do it? Because they don't make a decision. Now, how do you know if you've made a decision? You look at your actions. And if your actions don't align, your actions and your thoughts, if they don't align with what it is you say that you want, it's not true. For sake of example, I coach many people and they say, I want my business to pay more than my job. But they don't prioritize learning and going to trainings, for example, in their business. They might skip a meeting, for example, but they'll never skip a meeting for their work. It's like the priorities are not there. So you can tell from your actions, you can tell what you're focused on. All right. If you actually want it. Now, not everyone wants their business to pay more than their job. If that's the case, be open and okay with just admitting that. Just say, I
Right.
just want a part-time business to pay me XYZ, or I just want to be in a good community. I just want to have something fun. Be real with yourself. But if you're truly real about wanting it to pay more than your job, then there needs to be the decision. I'll give an example. When I had my full-time job, my only job I've ever had, though, actually, Danny, I was a manager at Target. So I was in
Mm-hmm.
the retail stores. I was trying to be the store manager, something like that. So I was there 40 hours a week. I drive an hour to work. I wear the red and khaki. I barely have anything red these days.
Red and
Why?
khaki.
Oh, man. And, I'd be doing my thing. And then I drive an hour back to do my business.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember my mind was not at my job. My mind was, I need to get out of here because I hate this. This is not where I belong. I can't wait to build my business. So my mind during the day, of course, I do my work and be responsible and stuff like that. There's nothing wrong about a job. I was taught this by my mentors, that a job is a temporary source of income as you're developing your multi-million-dollar dream.
Mm.
So be grateful. It's definitely there for a reason, but don't be shackled to it, right? But I said, I need my business to explode. I need my business to explode. And within 3 months part-time, my business exploded to the point where I didn't need to go back to work. And now it's been 10 years I haven't had a job.
Nice.
So it's that decision is the very first thing right there.
Okay. So obviously you mentioned going to meetings.
Yeah.
You also mentioned posting a day,
Yep.
right? What other tactics would you say? Should they make a certain amount of phone calls per day?
Absolutely.
Should they reach out to other marketing sources?
Yep.
Yeah, what would you say?
So let me give you some daily methods of operation. Must, if you actually want your business to pick up, social definitely, especially online, must be a daily thing. And social, what it does, it's a lead generator. All right. The concept's very simple. In any business, whether it's network marketing or business, one of my personal mentors, his name is Tim Sales. He's a legend in network marketing specifically. He's been interviewed by Grant Cardone, things like that. His concept is so simple about any business. All businesses do what's called the pipeline. All right, so let me describe the pipeline. Whether you're in the restaurant industry, whether you are in the film industry, you're in a health and wellness, life insurance, network marketing, it don't matter. All right. You need to have a lead. You need to contact the lead. You need to set up an appointment with the lead. You need to present them something. You need to follow up. And then whether they're a customer or a partner or whatever that it is. Every business does this pipeline. All right. There's no other way to do it. No one just randomly gets started or buys something, right? They have to see something. So in our business, if we're actually doing it professionally, what are the things, and I challenge who's listening to this right now, if you're in a business, I want you to write down, what are the things daily to generate contacts? What are the things you're doing daily to talk to these prospects? What are the things you're doing daily to invite them to see something or set up an appointment? What are the things daily you're doing to present to them? And what are the things daily you're doing to follow up with them? Whether it's 10 a day, 5 a day, 1 a day, there must be movement in that every single day. And you cannot go a day without that, because otherwise you're not doing a business. Like, you're not moving leads to the pipeline. So it must be that. That's it.
Okay. So gotcha. So focus on something daily. So do you think that new entrepreneurs, they should focus on being more of an expert in their field? Like, if I'm going to be in a health and wellness business, should I know everything about the product first? Should I know everything about sales and prospecting? Should I know everything about marketing? I know it's kind of a continuous thing where you kind of got to do it all, but at least in the beginning, where do you think people should focus most of their attention on, in your opinion?
Yep. If you want massive success, you jump out of the airplane and you build the parachute on the way down, right? But to say that means that a professional is a problem solver. Okay. So it's not to say give wrong advice, to give wrong information. You always want to get the right information. So let's say I'm in health and wellness and I want to help someone lose weight. I see that they have a need. All right. I'm like, hey, I have something in mind I think can help you. and let's say like, can you tell me about it? I'm not going to lie. Let's say I know nothing about the products. All I know is that it looks good. Then my priority, my obligation, my moral duty is to find the proper information. Now that might be a tool, that might be a video, that might be a website, that might be an expert person that I can connect them to. I'd highly recommend when new, find a mentor that is an expert that you can lean off of and leverage and edify. So you could use their knowledge, you're the connect, they're the expert, and just connect them together. So that's probably the best way in the very beginning. But if you don't have a person, then resources, tools, know where to find them. And as you do that, you're going to get better and better and better and better. That's probably the best way to learn. Because most people, if they try to be an expert and then do something, they never actually do anything. They stay in the study mode.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I like that because I think that goes into some people that were interested in the company, and if they're not fortunate enough to have that that great mentor, then like you said, it does come down to the tools. But then I think like if you're immersing yourself into this, you do have to do it continuously, but you also have to continuously educate yourself on your product. Like, I mean, to be honest, if I see somebody in health and wellness, but they're not doing anything health and wellness wise, they don't work out, they don't eat right, I'm not gonna follow them. So you're gonna do things to where, I think you should do enough to where you become the expert in that industry, right? Reason why I like Dave Ramsey, because this dude, the different calls that he's on, I'm pretty sure he had to do some level of studying, right? Some level of studying to where people call in, he can answer whatever question. But he had a mentor at one point, and on top of him having a mentor, he still put he still put his time into understanding the industry. Pretty sure he's not reading from a teleprompter and researching. So you got to be the mentee first.
You do.
Learn from the mentor, but that should not be your only means of learning. But then also you still have to, like I said, continuously kind of learn it all. But I think that is a leverage, like you said, in the beginning, understand the basics, the foundation, learn from the mentor, the different scenarios, and then just keep going from there. So we got all of this going. When should I go full time?
There's a couple. Everyone's different, honestly. Okay, I'll tell you the politically correct answer first, which I think is what most people should do. Is they should have their business, because a lot of times when people make a jump is at the wrong time. And what I mean by that is they have a good month and they're like, this is going to take care of me, let's go. And then businesses go up and down. So the safe answer would be, has your business produced enough revenue for 3 to 6 months consistently where it's what it is that you need it to pay for you? All right. So that's the number one thing. Is there some type of consistency? Number two, do you know how to duplicate it? For example, do you know how to actually make that income? Business income should not be by chance. It should be by design. So do you actually know how to do that? And I'd also say it's wise to have some savings built up, 3 to 6 months. Dave Ramsey says a 6-month emergency fund, these types of things. I think that's the wise way to do things. I didn't do that. I just said, I'm tired of my job. I'm burning the boats and let's go. So it was tough, but it worked out. But if I were to do it again, I probably would have done that first way.
Okay, great. So kind of like in closing, I want to know, like, what do you want to explain to the world about your business? What information do you feel is not out there as far as just on the product side? Like, what type of products that you provide that can help people out?
Absolutely. The reason why I partnered with this health company specifically was when it comes to the health industry, there's a lot of products out there. You go on Amazon, you go to GNC, you go to all these different places. There's so many different brands out there, but not all brands are made the same. Interesting study in New York, actually. The attorney general went into a bunch of health stores They pulled off 800 products from the store shelves, and 80% of the products on the store shelves, what they said that was in the bottle, like on the label, was actually not even in the bottle itself. So a lot of times with a supplement or something health driven, we're not even getting what we're paying for. And the most expensive product is the one that doesn't work. So if people are going to take something, they're going to consume something, and your body is your temple, and we should treat this really, really well. And in entrepreneurship, it's super important to take care of your body. Ed Milet says this, and if you don't know Ed as a listener, he's worth $400 million plus now, probably. He actually got started in the network marketing industry, in life insurance, actually.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. He's in World Financial Group, actually.
Okay.
So he made his millions there. Still involved, actually. But one thing he said was this, is that 90+% of his wealth would not be here if he didn't make his health a priority. He says this, that athletes go into business afterwards, many of them, and that's how they make a lot of money.
Yeah.
But business people should train themselves like an athlete too. It should be like a business athlete type of mindset. Your body's important for anything. So on a product standpoint, if people are looking for something, then make sure you get something that actually works. And what I love about the company that I partner with, it's called New Age. They have a lot of healthy brands and everything. Scientifically proven, it's backed. It's really, really good stuff. It's consistent. I've used it for the last 10 plus years of my life and everything.
Okay.
That's on one end. Second end is this. The world is digital now. The world is like, if you want to win in business, it's a competition. If you want to win, you got to be on the cutting edge of things. You got to be every place at every one time. Brick and mortar stores they're not gone in a way, but it's just not the traditional way to do things. And if you want a way to win big in business, you got to find a way to be able to scale yourself out. And the network marketing vehicle is a great way to do that. Many great companies out there. This is one of many that are amazing, but find a way to do something that you can leverage your time. Yeah.
Amazing. Awesome. And how do people get in contact with you?
Best way, follow me on my Facebook. It's just James Zheng on there. Follow me on my Instagram. It's James C. Zheng, Zheng. I'm also on TikTok. So I think that's James C. Zheng or something like that as well too. Yeah. And I have a podcast as well called the War Movement Podcast.
Oh yeah. Tell us a little bit more about that podcast before we go.
I love doing that podcast. Is anything dealing with building your body, your mind, your spirit, so you can be a better entrepreneur. I give just tips about life, business. It's not a business specific type of thing. I bring interviews there as well too. It's a place where, and I just went through a whole series on building a business from scratch, basically. So the fundamental things to understand on leadership, communication, social media, like a lot of different things. It's just free, fun, a great place to get a lot of the things that have been going through my mind that have impacted me and many others, just into that platform.
So, okay. So if I want to get indirectly coached by you, I could just listen to your podcast.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Gotcha. So if I want to reach out to you, or I want to reach out to you because I'm interested in health and wellness. I just hit your different social media platforms and message you from there. Or if I'm like, I want to hit a product and I want to burn off all this fat. Don't judge me, y'all. Okay. But if somebody said they want to burn off something, you guys have products and different things like that, right?
Absolutely. Main product, I lost 25 pounds in 40 days with no exercise and got a 6-pack. That was my goal.
Wait, you said you did what? Say that again?
I lost 25 pounds in 40 days, no exercise, got a 6-pack. It was my lifelong dream. So help me to do that.
Did you eat a certain way with that process too?
Basically what it does is it helps expedite the fat loss if you're eating healthy, like how you're supposed to anyway. So I ate well, for sure. Okay.
Are you vegan at all?
I'm not vegan personally. Okay. I like vegan food, but it's kind of hard to cut down fat because vegan has higher carbs and stuff, and it's missing a lot of iron.
That's what I tell people.
Yeah. It's a tough life. It's a tough life, but gotcha. I love the concept for sure.
Gotcha. Now I'm not gonna let you go that easy. You said you ate right.
Yep.
In 40 days, no workout, get abs and loss. How many pounds?
25 pounds.
25 pounds. You got to give us some examples. What were you eating and how many times a day?
Yeah, I was eating good. My son and I, now I teach these simple laws. These will work with or without the product, but the product makes it faster, much easier. Instead of being a like, oh, like gosh, it helps you curb cravings. It helps you to kind of like expedite things. But hit your protein count, daily rule. That's what I do on a daily now anyway. Protein is the building block of every single cell in the human body, not just muscle, but everything, hair, skin, everything. So that's important. It also helps you to keep your muscle tone and to make sure you burn the fat.
Right.
Number 2, drink at least, I say a gallon of water, but that's just a generality right there.
Right.
But water is the lifeblood to our system. And then number 3 is just limit the dry carbs. Limit the dry carbs, so the rice, the pastas, and stuff like that. But if you're eating enough protein and getting some good healthy fats and stuff, it's not hard to kick out the rest. We have a sugar addiction in this nation.
Gotcha.
So we got to kick that off.
So were you doing like, what is it, the 1 ounce for the protein per body weight?
I was doing, so get what weight do you want to be at?
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, aim for at least 1 ounce of protein for that body weight you want to be at, around there. It's a good general rule of thumb.
Okay. And you were doing like, what were you doing? The high fiber carbs, like the brown rice, sweet potatoes, the typical stuff
None
that
of
they
that.
say? No,
None of that
at all.
actually. Yep. I try, because that also metabolizes in the body the same way too. It triggers insulin. It brings fat storage into your body, and it actually cuts fat loss many times, unless you're working out aggressively and stuff.
Gotcha.
But I wasn't working out, so just high protein, almost a keto type of lifestyle, but not as strict as keto, because keto's intense.
Was it close to like paleo? Was it like
kind
a paleo?
Of like that.
Okay.
Kind
Not
of
like as
that.
aggressive, but
exactly.
Because I think when I was learning about personal training and nutrition, when reason people say like sweet potatoes and brown rice is because it's called high GI, which is the glycemic index.
Yep.
Which is you want more carbs to kind of fall into that category versus the lower, which is the high in sugar, and which that's part of the reason causes like diabetes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, cool.
If you are going to have carbs, those are a better choice. So always make the better choice for sure.
So you just gave us a secret to weight loss, a simple thing, which is obviously clean, but great. So now people know to reach out to you. Well,
absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for coming, today.
Thank you for having me. It's an
Thank
honor.
you, everyone.
Your listeners, I know, are going to be blessed by you and everything that they got. Keep on watching and following Danny, everyone. She is someone special. There's a rare breed of people out there that truly want to empower, especially this generation, our generation. We need this. We need to understand entrepreneurship, finance, and all of that. And Coach Danny is crushing it. So
thank you. I appreciate that. Definitely.
Absolutely.
Thank you all for tuning. This is your girl, Coach Danny Renee. It's the Millennial Network, and we're out.